started. So Yoga 1 by me, first song, Peace Shanti out. We'll get started at a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press your buttons. Okay. So we're gonna get started on our backs with a nice little chest opener. So if you don't have blocks, you're gonna take a towel or a little blanket and roll it up pretty tightly in this little wall there. And then you're gonna place that around where your shoulder blades are. Just allow yourself to roll up and over and get your head back to the floor. Now, your head, if you feel this muscle pulling as you draw your head back, I'll show you a little closer. As you come back, if you feel this muscle pulling as the head goes back, I want you to take another little pillow and place it underneath your head. Because you don't want the chin to feel as if it has to stay lifted. That's going to create tension in the neck. And this pose is a release of tension and a slow and steady opening of the heart. I'm going to show you a few different versions of how you can do this pose. The second one, with your blocks. So I even start with my head a little higher than my shoulders. I can always take it down. The shoulders find, the shoulder blades find the block, and then the head finds the other block. Okay, so that's the second way of doing it. I'll show you two more. The third one, instead of going on the shoulder blades, it just rolls up the spine. And that really feels as if you're super opening up the spine. And there's a spot right at the bottom of the rib cage that you can then lie flat and down onto this block. And here the block kind of comes between the shoulder blades, and then the shoulder blades open. And last one. So many variations, or just varieties. You're gonna take your towel or a blanket that's shaped like this, and instead of rolling it horizontally, you'll roll it really tightly vertically. So it becomes like a little noodle. This now comes right at the base of your spine, and you can roll all the way up. And the head kind of finds the edge, so it kind of hangs over. And this kind of does similar to the vertical version of the block. So find which one you like most. I'm actually going to go back to the vertical version of the block. That seems to be the most comfortable today, and it changes. So sometimes this way is more comfortable for me. And again, you just want to pay attention to what, in this moment, today, what feels good. Not what may have felt good the last time you did it. But actually, in this moment, what is the best for you? And your arms are spread wide, your knees can be together or coming into bound angle. That's up to you. And whatever you've decided, I want you to just focus on that prop and what it is actually doing to your body. Notice the sensation as you inhale that there is something in your back, opening your heart a little bit more. And notice as you exhale this drop down. Can you feel that because you have something kind of obstructing an expansion through the back side of the body, that you're feeling spaces in the front side of the body that you don't necessarily always get to feel. And you know you're starting to get really comfortable when the backside of the body feels as if it's enveloping whatever is behind it. So instead of just holding tight here, the whole body starts to melt around it. And again, here we focus on areas that are smooth in the breath, and then also areas that aren't so smooth. Just being with both, trying not to make commentary or editorialize if there's a difference between the two. They are different, but maybe the hold up is just something that you have to be with for a few moments. So now if you are in a position where your head is a lot higher, you can try now, we're in it for a few breaths now, to see if by dropping the head, if the head feels more comfortable now, and if you've lost that sensation around the jaw. So basically we're taking the back bend a little deeper now. Notice if it's affected the low back as well. If you feel that the tailbone is starting to lift up towards the head, so you're over arching to the low back, and you can't get that tailbone to soften, then bring yourself back up again. It's just too far down. That's okay. Can you feel the rise and the fall of your belly as you breathe? And also start to notice that the moment you stop thinking, okay, when's this going to end? And just be with this, you realize this is a nice place to be. You've made it comfortable enough for yourself that you can be in this position and go, oh, this is nice. I like this. Let's take another 10 breaths together. I'll count the breaths, you don't have to. Before we start to move at all, just pay attention to how you feel. Now that you've kind of surrendered that you were here for a little bit, notice it feels good. Also notice that big opening through the chest, and try it when we move into our cobras and into some of our back bends, see if you can find this. So if your legs are apart, you're going to just walk them together. Walk your heels in a little bit more. I like to take my hands underneath my butt and press the elbows into the floor. From here, it's a big lift for the head. So I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm bringing my chin to my chest. And then I'm pressing into my elbows to lift me up more, pressing into my hands to lift me up. You can slide the feet back together, lengthen up, sit up nice and tall. Feel that your shoulders are right on top of your hips, and lengthen up to the crown of the head. Take another breath here. Notice you still feel that residual opening through the upper body, so that that heart lift feels nice and easy. Now though, as you sit here, can you feel the breath moving into the back side of the body? Beautiful. All right, and then we're going to just roll forward and come into a lying down position on your left side. If you want, and you have your towel here and it's still rolled up, you can use it for your head. So that makes it more comfortable. I'm going to take our right leg and draw it up towards our chest. You can hold on underneath the knee. You can hold on top. Feel that buttocks tucking under, and notice as the right buttocks tucks under, kind of down and forward towards the front of the body, that the knee lifts up a little higher. That's kind of nice. Draw the heel in a little bit more. If that bothers the knee, don't. And then we're going to take our right hand to the floor and just do some nice big circles with that knee. And it's early, so your big circle may not be so big. If you want to hold on to that knee, you can. It just makes it a little bit more challenging because you roll around a little bit more. And let's switch directions with that knee now. Be gentle with yourself. Beautiful. And then let's lift that leg back up again. And as the right buttock tucks under, draw that knee in. Does it go any closer? How does it feel? If you want to straighten that leg up, you can. Hold on to the back of the leg, drawing it in. Beautiful. We'll bend that knee again. This time we're going to just bring the knees together, bring the hand to the back, the top of the foot, and just draw the heel in toward your bum. Feel your inner thighs fit back behind you a little bit. So I hold on here to the top of the foot, so I also get a nice stretch through the front of the foot. My knees coming in towards my bottom, so my quad is stretching, but I'm trying to feel the quad stretch through the center of my thigh, not at the knee. And if that's happening, lighten yourself up and see if there's a way into the middle of the thigh, and if not, just keep it light. All right, let's release that leg, stretch it straight, press out to the heel. Press out to the toe. Heel again. And toe again. Here's one for walking in the snow tomorrow. A little bit of heel circles now. Switch directions. Beautiful. And then reach it away. And then we'll just roll to the other side. You can roll onto your backs. You can roll forward. I'm going to flip myself around so I can still watch you. All right, let's take that top knee. And hold on to it again, either back of the knee or front of the knee. Holding here, feeling the Tailbone draw forward a little bit so the knee lifts up a little bit more. Think of even the tailbone reaching down towards that right heel. It's a good one. And then take your hand down and let's start with a little bit of circling. If you feel like you're rolling a lot here, engage your core muscles a little bit more. See if that helps. And then switch directions. Beautiful. And then we'll draw that knee back in again. Give it a hug. You can hold on to the back here. You can straighten that leg. Holding on wherever it makes sense to you, either the foot, the ankle, the back of the knee, even the thigh. Feel that big stretch to the whole back side of the leg. And then we'll bend the knee, grab hold of the top of the foot, knees come together. Heel comes in towards the bum, inner thighs spit back. Feel the top of the foot get a nice little stretch. Excellent, and then reach that foot away, press it to the heel. And the toes. The heel. And the toe, and then some circles with the foot. 1, 2, 3. And then switch directions. Okay, beautiful. Release that back down. Let's roll onto our bellies. And here we are in our first Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath shoulders, palms are parallel with one another, or forearms are at least. And then as we press down and pull back, can you once again find that object in the back of your shoulder blades, drawing the heart a little bit more forward. From here, upper outer arms draw back, feel your belly button draw in towards the spine. Feel the tailbone reach down towards the heels and then press into the feet to engage the entire body in a moment of just strength. As we exhale, we're going to slide the hands back down. Stretch from fingers through toes. As you inhale, slide yourself back up. And I lost my face here. Exhale, slide down. And inhale, slide back up. Find that object. One last time, exhale, slide down. And this time you can either slide back into Sphinx pose or you can slide your arms around and grab hold of the hands behind you. You can hold on to a tie as you reach the heart forward. Same positioning, feet pressing down, tailbone reaching back. There's an object in the back of your heart's reaching forward. And let's just lift, if you notice your chin lifted, drop the chin a little bit and lengthen out to the back of the neck. Holding here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can release back down, slide your hands to underneath your breast, and then press hands and knees into the floor, and you'll make your way up and back and into child's pose. And take your time getting there. It should feel nice. And then we'll come up and into tabletop position. All right, so let's just do a little wrist stuff. So curl your toes under. Walk your knees back a little bit. And then just come and sit back on your heels, lifting your fingers up and pressing the palms into the floor. And then exhale, roll yourself forward. Right right to your fingers, and if you want, you can lift your wrists up, but you can also just kind of give your wrists a little stretch the other way. So that's up to you. Back. We'll lift the fingers up. And this time as we lift the fingers up, just kind of giving them away and rocking them from side to side. And then coming back down. And forward, and either forward, keeping the wrist down, or forward, lifting the wrists up, stretching through the fingers. One last time. Beautiful. And then placing the hands back down right underneath your shoulders. And add a little cat and cat. So if you need some cushioning underneath your knees here, that blanket would work really well. Another thing you can do here to keep some of that tension or some of the pain out of the knees is just press into the heels and take them off the floor. Now, this makes your arms work harder and your core work harder, but it does make it much easier for the knees. All right. The next one, let's just stretch ourselves all the way up and back and into downward facing dog. And just pedal out your heels. Feel the back of the neck get long. We're going to start to walk our hands back towards the back of our mat. Bending your knees as you need to. Oh, we made it all the way back. Hanging in your forward fold. As you press down to the floor, start to roll yourself up. As your head lifts up, press down to the feet, lift your arms up over the head. And then we'll exhale, bring our hands to the center of our hearts, taking a moment in our mountain pose. And just feel the weight of your feet connect deeply into the floor, to the four corners of your feet. So baby toe, big toe, inner outer heel. Feel from about the waist of the pelvis down, from those heavy bones down through the legs, that there's this grounding. And then from that grounding, feel that equal opposite lift up, all the way up and out through the crown of the head. Here you are in your mountain pose. How does your mountain feel? Does your mountain feel stable today? Do you feel rooted through all four corners, or do you find that you're still not quite connected yet? And we will notice as we move through our practice that the more we do, the more we pay attention, the more we deep breathe into ourselves, that our connection to this position becomes easier and easier. Now let's take our arms back up again, palms together, look up. And as we exhale, nice and slowly, we fold down. Start to walk our hands back forward into downward facing dog. And then we're going to inhale, come forward into plank pose. Now, if you want to come into your knees in plank pose, you can. Exhale back into downward facing dog. And then inhale into plank. So why I love doing this. In our plank pose, feel it for a second, press down, feel the power here. Feel the whole front side of the body just engage with effort and holding and strength and power. And then just a little switch, just a little hip lifting. And it's just all about stretch. The back side of the body kind of holds you in place here as you feel the entire body get a little longer. Beautiful, let's do that one more time. Inhale, come forward. Contract, hold, power. Exhale back. Softness, ease, stretch. Okay, as we come forward this time, we're going to lower ourselves to the floor. So of course, again, you know you can tap the knees to the mat. Draw yourself a little forward, bend the elbows back, and slowly lower down to the floor. Beautiful. Take your arms back into we haven't been here yet. Cobra pose, but with the arms more in cactus to begin. So you can drop the head and just feel the shoulders roll. And here, notice, do they feel the same? Because my shoulders certainly don't feel the same. So you may want to do one at a time, circles, and then join them together and see if you can make them feel a little bit more together. And then find the shoulder girdle, press the hands into the floor and forward, and start to peel yourself off the mat. Now pull the hands back a little bit. Again, feel your chin drop back down so that the head is just at the end of the spine. It's not, it's completely connected. Feel the tailbone reach back and find that obstacle or that object in the back of the heart again. Reaching the heart maybe just a little bit more forward. Can you feel not only the stretch to the front of the body, but space in the back here? And then start to lower yourself back down again. Slide the hands back, press hands and knees into the floor, lift yourself up, and cat tilt all the way back into child's pose. Inhale, we're going to slide our hands back behind us and roll ourselves up. We're going to lift up, and we're going to take our right leg forward. So again, if you have bad knees, take your hands to the floor and help that right knee come forward. If you're okay here, just step forward. Okay, take your hands to the floor. You can use blocks. And just start to rock yourself back and forth. Open up the hips, open up the hamstrings, open up the hamstrings, open up the hips. 2. All right, on this next one forward, let's come up. We'll take our right hand down towards the floor. Again, a nice thing here to do, if you want, if you've got a block, is to give that hand a little, what's the word? Oh, I forget the word here. But when you have something to lean your hand on, it gives you extra power to reach up and over. I want you to feel in this pose that from your left knee, up through your hand, there's one line. And as you start to stretch over towards the right, you're feeling that stretch through the sideways, not up in the shoulder. Okay, so this is one version. If you want to try taking that right hand and grabbing hold of the left wrist, that's another. Feel the heart lifting up towards the hands. Can you find again that object in your back? Does it change the way that your pose is? And if it does, it's probably a good change. All right, let's lift ourselves back up. You're going to take both hands now onto the inside of that right leg. So, lizard pose here. Back knee again can be on the floor, it doesn't have to be, and you know you can rest it on something. Here, your right knee is hugging in towards the shoulder a little bit. And from that back knee, lengthen the crown of the head forward. You may feel your elbows bend a little bit. Keep drawing that right knee into the shoulder, fold. And lift that back knee off the floor as you pull the shins and the back foot towards each other, hold. All right, let's just start to crawl down the long edge of the mat into a forward fold. Pull the legs towards each other, feel that energy draw all the way up into the pelvis, and then just start to hinge forward. Nice flat back here. Here again is a nice stretch to the hamstrings. Let's bend that back knee, we'll draw the front leg towards us. Take a look at your right foot, you should have a big deep arch to the front foot. And if you don't, keep drawing more energy from the outside of the foot back towards you, and that'll increase your arch. Excellent. All right, we're going to crawl ourselves back to the front. You can drop that back knee to the floor if you want. We're going to take the right arm and just open it up. Hug the right thigh in towards the center line and feel your left ribs drawing towards it. Excellent. We'll take that hand back down onto the outside of that right leg. Step back, downward facing dog. The inhale will come forward into plank. You know you can tap your knees to the floor. We'll lower all the way down. Take your arms wide and forward again, a little looping through the shoulders. Feel the shoulders draw into the shoulder girdle, and then peel yourself off the mat. Excellent. Pull the hands a little back. Again, take a few breaths here. Tailbone reaching back, so low back, so comfortable. Heart reaching forward. So most of my effort here is reaching that heart forward, but I want to make sure that it's not from, the sensation is not from lifting up the chin, which creates that same sensation. So my chin is neutral, my heart is reaching. Feeling the breath in the front of the body and also to the back of the shoulders. Exhale, roll back down. Slide the hands back, press hands and knees into the floor, lift up. And cat tilt, round the back, all the way back to child's pose. Take a breath here. As you exhale, slide the hands back. As you inhale, roll yourself up. Okay, you can lift up and take that left leg forward, but you can also, if your knees bother you, take your hands forward, use them to help. Something should be underneath your knee if your knees bother you as well. Level off your hips. Your left hand can be resting on something. So as you press down, it gives you a little bit more effort. I don't remember the word at this point because, I didn't have enough coffee yet. So from here, again, from that knee up through your hand, nice long straight line. Pressing into the block at the left hand is going to increase the stretch a little bit more, and then we can arc over. Feel your heart lifting up. You can stay just like this, or you can take that left arm, grab hold of it, and reach it up and over. Where's your heart? If it's in the back side of your body, can you reach it forward and up as if it's trying to reach and hold on to your right hand? Excellent. Inhale, both arms lift up. And then both hands come forward onto the inside of that left leg. Roll to the front of your back knee, so you're more on your top of the thigh bone than on the kneecap. Reach the heart away from the tailbone. You can start to bend the elbows. Excellent. Coming back up, we're going to start to walk our hands down the long edge of the mat. We're in a forward fold. Pull the legs towards each other. Feel that lift up in the pelvis and then hinge from the hips to drop the head back down. 3. Lengthen again, flat back. We're going to start to bend the back knee, pulling that front leg towards us. Take a look, the arch should be very high. Big stretch through the inner groin. And then we'll crawl ourselves back to the front of the mat. Plant the right hand and take that left arm up. Inner left thigh and right ribs are trying to connect. Beautiful. And then we'll take that hand down onto the outside of that left leg. We'll step that back leg forward and hold. Inhale, roll yourself up. Arms up over your head, palms together, look up. Exhale, we'll bring our hands back down to our hearts, heart up into our hands. Keep the heart lifted, release your hands. Take stock of your mountain pose. Do you feel more grounded? Take 2 extra breaths here. Does that help? Inhale, we'll lift the arms back up again. Exhale, we'll fold forward. Hands to the shins, lengthen. Hands to the floor, step back with your right leg. Drop the back knee. Let's just rock a little bit here from side to side. Beautiful. Plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Hold your plank. Press the floor away, lift up, downward facing dog. Beautiful, let's look forward, we'll take our right leg forward. And this time we're just going to slowly take our arms back behind us as we lengthen up. So pull that right shin back. Feel that work right here. It's like as that leg draws back, it goes right into that glute. And then the back heel and the crown of the head reach away. Let's scoop those arms under, bend that back knee. We'll lift ourselves all the way up into a lunge. And then straighten everything and come into warrior two. Bend that front knee a little bit more. Reach out to the back arm a little bit more at the same time. What does that feel like? Gonna inhale, everything's gonna come up. Straighten the front leg, arms come together on the top of the head. And then as we come back down, as if you're wading through cement or molasses. It's Christmas, let's make it molasses. Come down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, keep that right knee tracking the center of the foot. Last time. Excellent. Drop the back hand, lift the top arm up and over. Take a few extra moments here, exalting your warrior, and also noticing what it feels like to exalt your warrior. So notice what you feel like in this shape. Beautiful. Exhale back into warrior two. And let's make our way back down to the floor. Plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Push the floor away from you, downward facing dog. Back of the neck long. Maybe you can look at your belly for a second. That'll give your back of the neck a nice little stretch. And then looking backward, we'll take our left leg forward. Drop the back knee, just do a little bit. Oops, wrong leg. Is it? No. Sorry, lift up that leg and reach. Right leg, my mistake. You can hold on to the shin here, pull it back. Take the arms back behind you. Draw your belly in, bend the back knee, sweep the arms up through molasses into your lunge. Exhale, open up and into warrior two. Reach out to the fingers. Look forward. We'll exalt our warrior and take a few extra moments here in this exalted place, feeling your shape that you've become. Beautiful. Exhale back through your warrior. Unplug that back leg. And then make your way back down to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Let's lower all the way down to the floor. And once again, we'll take our hands back behind us. Try to interlace them. If they don't interlace, grab your tie. And just pull it apart, feeling your biceps roll up. Your triceps coming together. And if you have a tie here, notice if your fingers or your knuckles are back at your, coming back towards the wrist, and lengthen them. And then press into your feet. So if you're in without the tie, same thing. Press into the feet, press into the pelvis. Feel your head and shoulders lift up and reach forward as your tailbone goes back. Breathe, be here. Notice how badly you want to lift your, I don't know, I do this. So if I want to lift up and I'm not ready for it, I'll press my belly down because my belly is so big, it's easy to lift my head and shoulders. Really not great for the back and doesn't do what we want it to do. So what we're trying to do here is build up some upper back strength. So we don't want to work our low back muscles. We want to work our upper back muscles. Reach the heart forward. Let's take the arms out to the right and look over our left shoulder. Come back through center and over to the second side. If you're getting tired, well, yeah, it's a hard pose. Of course you're getting tired. All right, come back through center, lengthen, press down to the feet, reach the heart forward. A little higher. A little higher. If you want to lift the feet up, you can. 3 more breaths. Feel yourself hugging to your midline as you lengthen. And then see if you can release your hands without it boomeranging. Take the hands back underneath the breasts and roll yourself up into Cobra. Exhale, press into the floor, cat tilt all the way back. And into downward facing dog or child's pose. Or a little bit of both. Inhale, let's start to lift our heels up nice and high. Bend the knees, look forward, make your way back to the front of the mat, however it feels right to you. And fold into a forward fold. Okay. Lengthen your back, keeping your hands on the floor. And if you have trouble with this because your hamstrings are killing you, grab hold of your blocks. Let's just do a little bit of core work here. Actually, it's a much nicer pose with your hands on blocks. So if you don't have blocks, you can use like apple juice cans. Now press the block, your hands into the blocks and then melt the heart. You see how as I melt my heart, my whole body kind of drops a little bit. I'm going to take the right leg and start to lift it up. And from the inseam of that leg, right from the inner thigh, reach that leg up towards the sky. And then press, draw back a little bit so you're not just in the toes of that left foot, you're in the 4 corners bit. And then from the sole of the right foot, lengthen out to the crown of the head. You can stay with your hands both on the blocks, or you can start to reach that left arm away. As we exhale, elbow and knee are going to come towards each other, and if you can, squeeze them and hold for an extra breath. And then exhale, stretch it away again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze and hold. I made a mistake on the breath there. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take an extra breath. And then inhale, lengthen away. One more time like that. Squeeze, extra breath, and then away. Now let's do a few, just one breath, one movement. Exhale and inhale. 2 more. Excellent. Hold up. One more breath. And then release the hand, release the foot. Take a nice big inhale. And relax. Let the head go. Let the knees go. You can wobble around a little bit. That was hard work. All right. We'll come back up. Ready for second side. Side 2. Lengthen. Start to take that left leg up from the inseam of the inner thigh all the way up and back. You can stay with just the leg moving back and forth, or you can take the arm as well. Opposite arm. Try to get as long and straight as you can. And then exhale, elbow and knee come towards each other. We squeeze in for an extra breath. And then inhale, we stretch it away. 2. And then inhale it away. Oops. 3. Extra breath. And then reach away. Let's try just single movements now. Exhale in. Inhale out. Exhale, squeeze. And out. 2 more. Hold. Hold, take the arm down, take the leg down, and fold. Beautiful, let the hands drop to the mat, then we're going to start to roll ourselves up. Stretch the arms up, palms together. And slide our hands back down to our hearts. Heart up into the hands, keep the heart lifted. Keep the heart lifted, release your hands. And again, pay attention. Are you feeling even more rooted to the floor than you were before? And let's hope that's a yes, because we'll use it as we come into our standing, balance pose. So press down through the left leg. Let's start to take that right leg, and we'll lift it up. Again, moving from the inseam, draw that leg up. And if your shoulders just went back in space, draw the shoulders forward while you spin your inner thighs back. You're going to grab hold of that leg, draw it in a little closer. And then keeping both hips facing forward, take that right leg out to the right. You can slide your hand down the inside of that leg. And then see if you can bring the foot into the inner thigh. Now that's a challenging place to be for most of us. You can also bring that foot just below the knee. And if you're having some issues with your balance today, let your toe come to the floor. So your foot is still balanced, you're still in a balanced pose, it's just easier. And then we can create some branches. And since today is Christmas Eve, let's make Christmas trees. And at the top, you can't see me, but I have a star that I've created. So I'll show here. That's my star. So the only place you don't want to press into here on that leg is around the knee, because the feet and the leg together are really connected, and you don't want to push with your ankle that kneecap out. Excellent. So we're going to release the hands, bring the knee back in, and just grab hold of it, give it a hug. And hopefully you're starting to feel a lot of effort, a lot of just that standing quality on one leg, that feeling of bone density. Hold for as long as you can. And then we'll release. Nice. Shake up the legs or give yourself a little dance. Then we're going to move to the second side. So pressing down through the right leg now, finding your balance. And then starting to lift the inseam of that left leg up. Shoulders draw forward as inner thighs draw back. Grab hold of the leg, draw it in. Keeping both hips facing forward, let's take that left leg out to the left. You can slide the hand down the inside of that left foot and just draw it into place. Or again, do whatever makes sense to you to come into your tree. And again, we can create a Christmas tree. Right. Slowly we'll release the leg, and the hands, draw the leg in. Hug it in. We wait to feel that real power down onto the floor, into the foot, feeling that. I always think of it as bone density. It's like you're building bones here, then it feels like that. It feels like it's just getting stronger. And then you can release. Give yourself a little shake out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. How are we doing for time? Do we have one? Yeah, we have time for one little tricky move, so great. Bring your feet back into plank pose, back up into downward facing dog. All right, let's take our left leg and sweep it all the way up behind us. And then bring it all the way towards the left thumb. Curl the back toe under, make your way up into warrior two. So this is a challenge, so just face it like a challenge. So if it doesn't work, just appreciate your trying it. We're going to put the weight into our left leg, and we're going to come up and into tree pose. Ah! Excellent. Head comes forward, leg goes back. We come through our warrior two. Right. And since that was so much fun, we're going to try it again, pressing down to that left leg. Try to make the pose feel graceful. So if the leg coming up over the knee doesn't work, take the leg a little lower. And then back. Beautiful. You know, 3 times the charm, 3rd time's the charm. So let's give it one more. Inhale up. Beautiful. And then back. And since you did such a good job, you can exalt it. Exhale back through your vinyasa or just into downward dog. And we'll take that right leg up in space, up towards the sky, and then towards your right thumb. Inhale up through your warrior two. Put the weight into that right leg, sweep that left leg up, and into tree. Bend that standing leg, take the right leg back, or left leg back. Warrior two. See how once we start doing something, we do it a few times, we develop this pattern, it becomes a little bit easier. Doesn't mean that it's perfect, but we can start to see where we have to work a little harder. One last time. And also not only where we have to work a little harder, where we have to lighten up. Beautiful. And back. Beautiful. And then both hands to the floor. One last set of vinyasa if you want it. Stretch it out. Start to walk our feet back to the outsides of our hands. And then stick your butt back and reach your heart forward. Start to build up some strength in the backs of the legs, reaching the arms forward. Back and the neck long. Pull the shins back. Breathe, belly in a lot. Exhale, swim the hands back. Inhale, swim them forward. Exhale, back and forward. Last time. And now, reaching them back, scoop the arms under and start to press into the feet and lift yourself up. Beautiful. Walk your feet back together. And let's come to the floor. Excellent. Okay. Well, we may as well come into some back bends since we've got all that opening in our backs already. So keep your blocks close by. You may want to make this into a restore, or like a more relaxed or prop version of your back bend. But let's start by just setting ourselves up for the regular one. So just make sure, see if you can tickle your ankles. And in this position, you want your shins to be perpendicular to the floor. So coming into this with the knees too close, I find just pulls on the knees. So walk with the knee joint and ankle joint are lined up. Okay? Which means you can kind of touch your feet, but just kind of. Or if you have long nails, you can touch the back of your ankles. Or I guess that's my body, yours could be completely different. So to hold on to the edges of the mat, I can't because I have an extra mat here, I can move up. And I'm just gonna pull the mat apart and get into the shoulders again. So notice that as I pull apart, my heart lifts up, my shoulders come off the mat. Excellent. Keep that, keeping the hips on the floor for a moment. Again, find that object in the back of your heart. And then just start to press into the feet as you lift your hips up. Now you can take your hands and interlace them behind your back, coming into bridge. You can also take your blocks on top of one another and just sit in your bridge pose, but much more comfortably. Excellent. All right, so if you don't have your blocks, you can come down, take a break. If you're on blocks, you can stay just resting on blocks for a few more of these. But take a moment if you're not, and just windshield wiper the legs a little bit. And then we're going to come back up again. Now, if you're up here, try to, again, remind yourself of that opening through the chest. And also be mindful of where your neck is. So you want to keep your chin lifted so that the neck is well off the floor. You can take one of the Lionel trains underneath the bridge, which is your neck here. So your head and your shoulders create the little tunnel for that Lionel train to go through. See, I'm trying to make some Christmas references, which is kind of silly if I'm taping this, but you know, this will be very good next December 24th as well, this practice. Okay, slowly coming back down. Now, if you have the blocks underneath you, you can keep them there because we're going to use them for the next one. You may want to lower it to just one. Okay, so, and we're going to take our right leg and draw it in. So as we start to straighten that left leg, I want you to be mindful here, keeping your hips level and not moving as you slide that left leg straight. Notice as you do, if that right hip starts to slide out to the right, which is what we want to stop happening. That's why we're hugging the hips in. Slide that left leg back in. Hug the right knee in a little bit more, go a little farther. And back. One last time. This time we'll hold it here for a couple of breaths. Hugging the other hips towards each other, reaching the knee and the toes away from one another, belly in. Shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed. All right, one more breath. And as you exhale, you can start to release that right leg back down towards the floor. Be slow and mindful of what that does, how that's feeling in the hips. Slide that left leg straight and just take a moment. Let the hips shift back into neutral with all that new information. So we're going to take the left knee now, draw it into the chest. And again, as we slide the right leg straight, we want to keep the leg straight. We want to keep both hips hugging into the midline. And slide that leg back. Slide it out. And back. And this time as we slide it out, we'll hold here for a couple of breaths. So keep moving the right foot away from the left knee as the whole outside of the body hugs in towards the midline to get a little longer and leaner. Beautiful. And then we're going to slide that right leg back and then start to bring that left leg down. Just take a moment or two. so this next one is we're going to just lift both legs up, coming into a little version of Vaparini Karani, or legs up the wall pose. So if you are on a block, this should be, well, it's always a little, it's easier when the hips are a little higher. I don't know why, but it is. If you want, again, you can do 2 blocks here. And you want to keep your gaze looking up towards your feet, not out to the sides for your necks. And you can also roll your shoulders up there a little bit more. You can hold on to the edge of the block, or the mat, sorry, and pull the shoulders open. You can also here use a wall. So you can bring yourself up so that your back is on the floor, your feet are up on a wall, and you're hanging here. And this pose, Vaparini Karani, is called reverse processes. It's a way of letting the blood rush a little easier to your head and your face. Reaching up through your feet. Try not to let them go limp and numb here. And we do that by actually continuing to feel energy reach out through our feet. They remain active. Now, if it feels okay and you don't have to, so remember, be mindful, your head shouldn't have weight, but if you can, take the arms up over your head and grab hold of the elbows. That increases the opening through the lungs. But if all of a sudden it made your neck fall to the floor, you're going to draw the arms back. Right? We don't want the neck to be on the floor here. Keep going. Soon my music will be back. Draw the knees to your chest. And then one leg at a time, we're going to drop them down. Just take a moment as you feel the weight of your hips drop back down onto the blocks. My favorite part of this is just how heavy my hips feel when I try to lift the blocks up. So really plant your feet here. And again, feel the outer hips hug towards each other. As you pull your shins back, feel your tailbone reach forward, and that'll give you just enough space to roll the blocks out, and then you can roll yourself down to the mat. Start to walk your feet together, and you can drop the knees apart, and if they don't rest comfortably, take the blocks and place them underneath your thighs. Just feel the weight of your body starting to soften down into the mat. Notice the sensations through your hips. Feel the sensations in the upper back. Beautiful. So we're going to draw the knees back together. Draw one knee to your chest. Give it a hug. And stretch the other leg out. Okay, keeping the low back kind of flat on the floor. We do that by drawing the belly in towards the floor. So we kind of pull the low back to the mat. We're going to lift the left leg off the floor. And feel the whole outside of the body hug back towards the center line. We're going to take that left leg and lift it up. As we exhale, start to slowly lower it down. Let it hover. And then lifting it back up again. So I'd rather, instead of you just do a lot of these, Slow it down enough that you can feel the muscles in your core that are activated as the leg goes down. So start to notice how the progression of the abdominals being used moves as we move the leg. Excellent, and this is our last one. We'll hold it up here, and you can stay just like this, or you can start to let go of the leg, just hug it in on its own and reach your arms forward. Let your ears draw back. Feel again that object in the back of your heart. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 1, 1.5, and then start to release back down. Squeeze that leg in, and then release that left leg down towards the floor, and just notice what it feels like in the hips. You can move that right leg around a little bit. Beautiful. We're going to take that leg down, taking the left knee in, hug it in, hug the outer hips towards each other as you start to straighten that right leg. Feel the whole outside of the body hugging to its midline. Take the low back to the floor and the right foot a little off the mat. Reaching the toe and the knee away from one another. And then starting to move nice and slowly. We lift that leg up. And we start to slowly release it down. We're moving so slowly that we're very mindful of how this is affecting our bodies. Okay, this will be our last one. We're going to lift it up and we'll hold here. Low back is flat, outer hips hugging towards each other. You can stay just like this. Or as you squeeze the knee in without the hands, you can lift the heart up and reach those hands forward. Ears draw back, belly squeezing in, sides of the waist hugging in. Knee, left knee and right foot reaching away from one another. Hold. Beautiful. Slowly roll back down. And then we'll take the knees, both knees to the chest and give them a hug. Okay. Holding on to your legs again, you can squeeze in here or you can start to lift yourself up. And as you squeeze the legs in more and the ears draw back, if you want to reach the arms out, you can. You can stay just like this, or you can start to stretch the right leg out and back, left leg out and back. Do that 2 more times. Ears back. Open up the palms a little bit if you feel any work in your neck. Drop the head back. Squeeze the belly to the floor. Beautiful. And then hug in, squeeze in. Hold on to your feet. And then lift your feet up and roll the shoulders back down and you're in happy baby pose. With each exhale, you're feeling those knees drop a little closer to the mat. The shoulders are soft. Head and tailbone reaching away from one another. If you want to move around here a little bit, you can. If you want to start to stretch out one leg, you can. Then the other, again, just kind of playing a little bit here with your hamstrings if it feels okay to play. And also bring the soles of the feet together for a little bound angle. Then slowly start to drop the feet to the floor. And just windshield wiper the knees a little bit from side to side. And make your movements here really luxurious. Like do whatever big deep stretches that you want, or making our bodies prepared for our Shavasana. And then start to make your way down and into your version of Shavasana. You can put on your extra layers, get comfy. And then once you've got everything settled, settle yourself. So we may go a little bit over today. Just a few moments, like a few minutes. We may as well take advantage of this long, nice, deep relaxation. So you may notice as you come to the floor that it's easy as you exhale to feel like you can drop a little bit more of your energy down into the earth. Try it. I love this imagery of as you inhale, you're creating this expansive softness to the body so that as you exhale, that softness can just kind of drip into the mat. You can feel as if the back side of the body, as you inhale, expands so that as you exhale, the front side can melt into that expansion. Be mindful of the areas that we work. So notice the shoulders softening down a little bit more and more and more. Feel the hips do the same thing. The knees. Bring special attention to all the muscles in your face. Allow them to soften. Sometimes they need a little extra coaxing. So by coaxing, I mean just bringing your awareness to, let's say, the forehead. And you can even ask, so forehead, is there anything more you can release on this next exhale? And feel yourself exhale. And see if it worked. Moving through your cheekbone, same thing. Your jaw, your mouth, your tongue. Just feel the whole body starting to let go, drop into the earth. Today's daily Om is called Doing for Others. When we feel bad, often our first instinct is to isolate ourselves and focus on what's upsetting us. Sometimes we really do need some downtime, but many times the best way to get out of the blues quickly is to turn our attention to other people. In being of service to others, paradoxically, we often find answers to our own questions and solutions to our own problems. We also end up feeling more connected to the people around us, as well as empowered by the experience of helping someone. When we reach out to people we can help, we confirm that we are not alone in our own need for support and inspiration. And we also remind ourselves that we are powerful and capable in certain ways. Even as our own problems or moods get better or get the best of us, there is always someone else who can use our particular gifts and energies to help them out. They in turn remind us that we are not the only people in the world with difficulties or issues. We all struggle with the problems of life, and we all feel overwhelmed from time to time, but we can almost always find solace in service. In the most ideal situation, the person we are helping sheds light on our own dilemma, sometimes with a direct piece of advice, and sometimes without saying anything at all. Sometimes just the act of getting our minds out of the obsessive mode of trying to figure out what to do about our own life does the trick. Many great inventors and artists have found that the inspiration they need to get to the next level in their work comes not when they're working, but when they're walking around the block or doing the dishes. We do ourselves and everyone a great service when we take a break from our own sorrows and extend ourselves to someone in need. You can begin to deepen your breath. As the energy starts to move through and down through your arms and your legs, encourage the movement by wiggling through your fingers, your toes, stretch, yawn. Take a little bit of time on your side, settling in, noticing how the practice made you feel. And then when you're ready, you can make your way up to seated, sit up nice and tall. Bring our hands up to our heart back up onto our hands. Take this moment to recognize all that we have to be grateful. And noticing again that when we start to think about some of the things that make us grateful, it just fills us with joy, with love. Send out some of this beautiful sensation out to this beautiful community of ours. And we'll seal in this practice of the sound of one Om. Taking a nice big inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. Inhaling to Om. Feeling that vibration do its magic as it roots us a little deeper into the floor. So a reminder that our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts. We bring our hands to our head and then back to our hearts where they belong. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.